Hello everyone, I just wanted to make this video on how we can build this quick and easy vase in Blender. So if I take this over to rendered, there's no light. I'll take it over to material preview. Just to show it. So this is a flower vase and it has a glass exterior with a white porcelain inside and I believe a varying height bottom. Don't know what that's called, and then a kind of beaker shape, right? So the first thing we're gonna do is that I'm gonna hide this, and actually I'm gonna put all of this into a new collection. So if I go M, I have to select the object. Let's go new collection, and I'll just call this one old, and then select everything here. Hold up. Oh, great. And I'll put that inside old. And for now, I'm actually gonna put the camera and the light in there as well, just to get it out of the way. And then I'm gonna disable old. The next thing we're gonna do is and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna add a circle. I'll also try and see if I can upload the references online onto like a Google Drive or something, just so you can use this to design on your own. There we go. So as you can see, it's perfectly aligned now to the place that I want it to be in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the size of the reference to match the size of the object. So you might be asking why not the other way around. Number one, this is just a universal method, right? And number two, there's another reference here, and so if it's not consistent across both, we're just going to end up with a weird shape. What I mean by that is, imagine if I increase the size of this reference, then for some reason I increase the size of this shape as well to match this reference. Well, then you're just gonna flip back and forth between these two images and see that the size is off, right? First thing we're gonna do is if I select this object and I hit tab, I can see all the vertices. We're gonna go with an extrude upwards on the Z, roughly to about that height, and then I'm gonna go extrude and then scale. And I'm also gonna turn on my X-ray just so I can see through this object. Is it on? Hold up. Oh wait, no, material preview. So as you can see now, we can see our object very clearly. No, I haven't. So I'm gonna scale this down, and I'm probably gonna speed this part of the clip up, but I'm just gonna keep going up like this until I reach the top that it goes straight, and then I'm gonna do one big extrusion, right? So here what I'm gonna do is for the rest of this, for about here, I'm probably gonna just use a set of loop cuts, right? So if you go loop cut inside and then set this to like 7 too much. No, let's go a little bit higher, maybe 8. Yeah. And then set the smoothness. No, not smoothness. No, it's not smoothness, is it the factor? No, the factor can set it to 0. So I'm just gonna select these, and I'm just going to shrink them down ever so slightly. Yeah, this one. I'm just kind of matching it to that grey haze on the shape so that I can see where it's heading. Now this is just like the final extrusion, right, that we have to do, and we're just going to drag that up, and we're just going to scale it to a couple times. Right, there we go. Hit tab. So as you can see, in the actual thing, right, so when we hit the actual, I don't know how to describe this, so there's, that looks ever so slightly better, shade that auto smooth. It's okay, right? So what I do after this is that I would go for a solidify modifier. Actually, no, let's fill in the bottom first. So the bottom here, right? There's just a big hole at the bottom there, and then we fill that in, and then we go for a solidify. Yeah, a solidify modifier, right? Solidify, and then it's really up to you which way you do it, but I recommend what I just did was that I just left it to default, and then I hit apply. So that makes it part of the geometry. And then I added a subdivision surface modifier. And as you can see, that it removes, actually, let's go back. I forgot a bit. So, okay. As I was saying, right, that's correct. Now, what needs to happen here is that this face right here, this needs to be inset multiple times, right? So make sure that's selected. Go to the front orthographic and then hold the Alt key and the mouse wheel, and then what you got to do is just push down once, right? And then we have this bottom face right here, the bottom orthographic, or you can use like the numpad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit I for inset. And then I'm just going to do that a couple times, right? And of course, where's that reference from earlier? This one, we can use this reference. So I can rotate this on the x-axis by 90. And then I can go like this, GZ. See if this works some way, one way or another. We get it to work. Oh, oops. Right, you didn't know that. Then we can see like the average approximate distance between these waves in the glass on the bottom. So that first one is, I reckon, in the right spot. The second one needs to be a little bit further in, followed by the third, the fourth, and then the fifth, before it goes to the center. Actually, I'll do one more for just for safety, and then we're gonna hit one, right? So we can go back to vertices select because this is the one that I like to use. Actually, yeah, one just for now. It's fine, right? And then let's check this. I think bridge would remove the face, so don't bridge. I want to see if we could connect that in the middle because that's an important part too. But instead, we're just gonna skip to using the proportional editing. So what we can do with this is that through here, if we hit G, Z, and then make sure that's selected, make sure you can see this circle around the screen, right? And you do that by scrolling up and down with the mouse wheel. If you don't like the power that this has, then just increase it and then hold the shift key to slow down the editing. Now, the reason why we did the shade auto smooth first was that so that if there's a point where the shade auto smooth will stop working, right? And suddenly the geometry just becomes sharp like that. You can see the point that it changes. I'm not sure why that happens. It's just, I guess, a way that Blender works. Do you want to select every one of these and uh, make sure that it's set to that setting. Don't adjust this part down here just for now because as you can see when we apply the subdivision surface, that's what happens to it. Then go up here. There's no solidify modifier that should be applied if I'm right. So then go here, press modifiers and add the solidify modifier. Increase it to zero point 0.4 and then fine. Then hit Control 2. In this situation, right, it seems as it seems that what's happened is this outside row for some reason just has no width. Yeah. And doing this just makes it kind of thick. So what you might be able to do is if you hit 3 and then turn this off. Yeah, and then turn it back on again. Hit tab, there we go. That's good, right? So what I did was that I hit tab, I hit I to no, I hit tab, right? I loop selected this whole thing by hovering over one of the edges and then doing alt click, right? And then I hit I to inset and then that actually gave it some solidness, right? So the reason why that works is because Blender makes this work of Blender makes uh Blender makes subdivision work of Blender makes subdivision work of faces, right? So and vertices and edges, and so if there's more faces and vertices in a certain area than what's set in the levels viewport because you've added them manually, then Blender will just leave it as a solid, right? So which is done here. Another thing which I would like to try is if we go edge or vertices select and we select these two edges on the outside, right? So what we might be able to do is that if we just drag these down ever so slightly and then hit tab, we might be able to just give it a small bevel, right? Yeah, I think it works. I'm not too sure. If we bump that up even more, there we go. You can kind of see it's dragging down now. I think this is better than the original that I made because the original had some errors with it, but anyways, the modeling part for this is done now. So I want to show you the second bit. So this is very easy geometry compared to the original one that I made. To be honest, I came up with the design for this on the fly, but if we turn off the subdivision surface, we can see all the geometry on the inside and outside of the shape. I'm going to select that and I'm going to loop select this and I'm going to go down and loop select every one of these. So I'll speed it up while I do that, right? Or I might just be able to do this. Yeah, I think that works too. It it didn't select anything on the inside because to be honest, this is very simple geometry. So if I click this and then get rid of that, what we're gonna do now is if we go data, right, and then we go vertex groups, we can mark this down as uh phase vase outside, right? Hit assign. and then deselect everything and select it to make sure. There we go. I'm gonna save this, right? So this is just the tutorial. I've already made this vase once, just to make sure that I have the design down right. Of course, I've somehow made it even better here. So, right, vase, tutorial. So what's special about this is that we can now go new to assign a new material, right? So this will be glass. This is on the outside. And this one will be, actually, no, let's go. This one will be inside. Inside. And, oh, whoops. Oh, that's not supposed to be point one. That's supposed to be just one inside. And this one will be, outside. Outside. So the outside is glass, while the inside is porcelain. First things I'm going to do is that I'm going to get a material, right, for the inside, don't for the outside. So I'm going to go materials and I'm going to search for my Blender kit add-on. Blender kit, there it is. Materials, I'm going to search for glass and it should be the first one that pops up. So if you're new to Blender and you want to get Blender kit, while this loads, I'm just going to go references. Where is it? Oh god. It's not popping up for some reason. There we go. You can just do control comma, right? And then go for add-ons. It should be in here somewhere. Blender. It should be either installed by default as Blender Kit Online Asset Library. So just click that tick and it should enable for you. Or you can go online. Hold on a minute. Blender Kits Online Assets Library. Oh, yeah. So just search for it and you should be able to find it pretty easily. Just click this one and it should apply it by default as glass, if in which case we can just rename it as outside. And make sure that this is assigned. Oh no. Looks like it's deselected. Thankfully, we have this. So then we can go back here and then we can hit assign, alright? Look what it did. Look what it did now. This is good, right? And then we can hit Control I on the keyboard and that inverts it, right? And then what we're going to do is that we're going to go to inside and then we're going to hit assign to this one so that now it knows that the default white color is the right one for the inside, right? So for the inside, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bump up the roughness I'll bump down the roughness ever so slightly. What was the original one? 137? 0.137 is the value that I'll go with. Yeah, there we go. I think that's right, because if we go with anything lower than that, it's probably going to create some weird. No, it's not for some reason, but metallic. Yeah, there we go. Metallic will go roughness, right? 0.137. Let's give it a little tiny bit of metallic. Because you'd expect it to be at least a little bit reflective. There we go. So I'm going to hit save, get out of edit mode. As you can see, this is the completed version of the vase. Now, as I said earlier, there may be a little bit of adjustments need to be made around the corners here, just so you can get it like flowing, right? So you there's a little bit of a sharp bend in the vase, as you can see. It is a little bit noticeable in the render, right? So this was the render that I made. And this is pretty good. There is some artifacting around the hip, would you say, of the actual vase, and got the flowers in there. Those were meant to be orange, but they turned black for some reason. And yeah, the original had like some plastic tulips in them. But yeah, this was how to actually make the vase itself, right? If you want to search for the tulips, just go here, search for orange flowers. Actually, no, let's be a little bit more specific. Tulip. No, don't search for that. Search just tulip. And of course, go free first. This is the one that I used for the original. No, it was this one? It was this one that I used for the original, right? Because this one is just three tulips, and I use that. Yep. So if you watched this, thank you for watching this far into the video.